What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We got a Miami native, one of our good friends out here. He is a hybrid athlete, CEO of Royalty Extracts. He is also a tremendous online coach here in Miami. Please help me welcome the one and only Ramses Principe. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's up, bro?
Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this, actually, so very excited to finally be here and make this happen.
That's right, man. I know we talked about it for a while, and here we are, man.
Yeah,
and look, better than ever. Why not have our Miami people live in person? It's the way to go.
That's the way to do it.
Bro, you've been getting me super motivated. I've been seeing you at the track, fucking busting it out, getting all sweaty. I was like, fuck, I got to step my game up, man.
He tells me, he's like, bro, I always see Ramses out there.
Bro, killing. All my clients like, bro, he's so fucking yoked. I'm like, I know, trust me. Like, thanks for making me feel like shit. But
but we're out there every day. I mean, usually on Wednesdays when I'm usually at the track, and man, it's insane. Like, you know, I've been focusing more on like running, that kind of switching up my training completely. And I used to hate running. Now it's like I'm learning to like finally enjoy it. So it's been a completely different experience past couple of months.
And I got to say, like, you know, seeing from where you started, because I've been following you for a long time, and I know we've connected in the past, and seeing from when you started to the transition you're going now, it's really incredible also, too. Like, you don't see a lot of people who go into this style of training and jump right into this other style of training to get ready for this kind of performance you're going to do for an Ironman.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, like, what are some of, like, the upsides, the downsides, like how's that been for you, like mentally, emotionally, physically? I think that would be super cool to know.
You know, I started off the whole prepping for the Ironman just because my birthday's coming up, so it's like my big 30 birthday, my 30th, so the dirty 30, so as they like to call it. So I'm the type of person that I need to find something to challenge me, something to compete with. I just need something to look forward to. If not, I just get boring. You know, I figure what's harder for us, like humans, or something than doing an Ironman. So it's completely, like you mentioned, it's something completely different than what I'm used to doing as far as the training. Like my body frame is just exactly the opposite of what an Ironman should look like. So it's really been an amazing transition. I learned a lot about my body. I learned a lot about the things that I thought I couldn't do before. And I'm really, one of my main reasons for doing this is just to break the barrier and show people that, yeah, I'm a big guy. I've been, consider what you consider bodybuilding for the past couple of years, but I can make the transition. And even though I have, 60 pounds on those people that I'm competing with, like, I'm still performing at a high level because I'm not doing this just to finish the race. I've done a triathlon before, and that's cool, but, I'm doing all this training, put another work, do another sacrifice because I want to, compete for it. Actually, place.
Dude, and it shows, man, like, no lie, like, throughout this whole COVID, like, dude, I see you on the bike, stationary bike in the house, you know what I mean? Like, many people use that as an excuse, like, oh, we can't go outside, or this or that, or especially during the beginning, and, dude, you do what you got to do to get ready.
Make it happen, regardless.
I mean, even some of my in-person clients that I still train, some of the OGs, they'll see you out there on the track, like, man, he's fast, though, for being so big. I'm like, well, if you gotta figure it out, if you're going to, take on such a large endeavor like running an Ironman, like it's not something you can really half-ass.
Yeah, no,
you have to go all in. You have to put forth everything you have into it, or you're gonna get smashed.
Yeah, I mean, you see me out at the track on Wednesdays, and it's crazy when I look back at when I first started going to the track the first day with the coach. I have a coach who helps me out at the track. His name is Nacho, and it's just insane, like seeing the transformation that my body has made from the times that I was doing the first day that I was there compared to what I'm doing now. Like, for example, like when I first started, like I was running my 1 mile test was 6:30, which is
still pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah, still pretty good.
It's really good. And now I'm doing that same speed for 6 miles, like, in a matter of 2.5 months. So it has shown me, like, what putting your mind into something that's just simple as running. I've never been a fan of cardio. I would do a mile and I'm like, all right, I'm done. My knees will be hurting, my joints, everything will be in pain. And I'm just like, I'm done for the day. I cannot move. And I was just making this whole transition. It's made me enjoy running, which I never thought it would be possible.
Yeah, no, and that's the funny thing, because I know we're not huge runners ourselves.
I'm the opposite of a huge runner.
But, it also lets you know, like, everybody has their strength, everybody has weaknesses. But when you actually go and run, you learn to appreciate what some of these guys are doing, because it's not easy to just go out there and run
Yeah, no,
for long periods of time.
Yeah, and I mean, you add in like a full marathon, and what is it? It's a 2 mile swim or 2 mile swim, and then you have what, a 60 mile bike ride? Is that
It's
Ironman?
112.
Much different than 60. So you know, I mean, to have to do a marathon by itself is tough. Then to add that swim in there, and then add the bike. The bike's third, right? Correct.
The bike is second. So
second.
The running is last. They say.
That's even worse. Your quads are all pumped up, so that'd be a good test for you. I know that you had told me a couple of times at the track that you were planning on going out to Bali and doing an Ironman.
For the Philippines, to do my first half Ironman, which was going to be like my prepping into the full one. And due to the corona, you know, I got to cancel. So, you know, it kind of sucked because that was like the whole purpose of doing the Ironman. It was like traveling, my birthday, 2 for 1 kind of deal. But, you know, once I learned about it, it just made me like, you know, I could get upset about it and be like, oh, I put all this work for this date and it's just not going to happen. Instead, I just looked at it, I was like, all right, when's the next one that I'm available to do? And that's just going to allow me more time to just get better.
Yeah. No, you said it, man. A lot of people will literally just see that as a barrier and give up after all that hard work you put in. And you're just like, all right, cool. What's the next one? I'm going to keep working hard for this. I'm going to keep achieving this, get my next one in, and keep going from there.
The only way I see it, I'll be better in 3 weeks than I was 3 weeks prior. So
that's right.
And it's not like I was going to stop training after this one. So it doesn't really make a difference.
For you, where did you see was when you first started? What was your biggest struggle out of the different ones, like running, swimming?
Swimming.
Okay, swimming.
Still swimming. I still struggle with swimming. I sink when I get in the water.
That's when you're telling me you're trying to lose that extra, 60 pounds you told me?
So I'm trying to just keep dropping weight because I'm in the pool. I'm just too heavy. I feel good running and biking. I'm not worried about that. But in the pool, I feel the weight. The weight just makes me go down.
Is it tiring?
Yeah. I could run. I could do 13, 15 miles running, and I feel good. I could bike for 100. I feel good. I can do a mile and a half swimming. It's just impossible right now.
Were you a strong swimmer as a kid? Like, did you have that before?
I used to swim when I was young. I took like swimming when I was young, but I always been big, so it's not like. And I would just do like races. It's never been like long distance. Nowadays, if I do like 50, 100 meters, I'll kill it. But 1,000 meters, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Yeah.
So what are you doing right now to try to get yourself closer to just getting better at the swimming? Like
4 days by your stories. Looks like I saw a story of you last night at Flamingo Pool, like 10:30.
Yeah, so I went like at 8 p.m. I was just like, I have to do it. And right now I'm trying to do at least 3 to 4 times. Realistically, 3 to 4 times swimming. And it's just so many like different. I gotta swim, I gotta run, and I still gotta stretch because if not, I'm just tired all the time. So
that's what I was gonna jump into. I was gonna ask you like, what does your recovery look like? Because bro, you're hitting it, man.
Yeah, so I do yoga like usually twice a week, and I stretch almost every day too. So, and as well like I do cryotherapy like twice a week as well. That helps me out a lot. But it's mostly just stretching and yoga.
And how's that been feeling for you as far as your body?
I love yoga. I got into like yoga almost like 2 years ago, and at one point I was doing more yoga than anything. Wow. This was like last year and a half ago when I really got into it. I was doing yoga 5 days a week, and I do hot yoga. So the whole transition of just feeling more flexible, started feeling my recovery, my training, my workouts were better because I was more flexible, more loose during the lift. So that really made me realize the importance of yoga, and ever since then, I always make sure to incorporate it into my at least once a week.
Where do you go? Where do you take yoga here?
It's called Wynwood Yoga. So they're out in Wynwood. It's a local place. Very great facility. The owner, she's usually the person who I do the class with. Her name is Gavi, and it's very like peaceful, but you're still getting it's high intensity yoga. So it's
How do people react when they see you come in there and then kill? You know what I mean?
I love it because
you got to walk through the door sideways. I feel like
they're definitely not used to someone like me walking into this class. But then when they see me like doing the yoga stuff, not for anything, but I consider myself very good when it comes to yoga. I'm very flexible and very good at the poses, and they're always very surprised. Like, what is this guy like doing in a headstand and doing all those like crazy poses?
It's great to see that. You don't get a lot of that. And I think it also sets the example to show other people have been, you know, training the same way. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, yo, you go try other stuff. You
Yeah.
can
Right.
try other stuff.
Yeah,
you know
I feel
what
like
mean?
people, especially with like something like yoga, like, oh, I'm not gonna go to that. It's full of girls. Like, that's only guys don't do yoga and stuff like that. And like when I go there, I'm like, yo, like, promise you, if you try this, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the way you feel. It's gonna be a completely different ballgame. And I always invite my friends that I cycle with, that I run with, and they're like, wow, like I can't believe I've never been here before, because just the feeling from it. Especially doing the hot yoga, you just get to sweat it all out, release all that from you. It's just
There's a huge difference with hot. I used to take Bikram back in the day. Before it was a huge scandal, obviously, to be in the Bikram world, and I loved hot yoga. It was great. You know?
I don't think I can do regular yoga.
I don't get the same type of
No,
like
it
you. I don't feel the, you know, quote unquote stretch
Yeah.
as much as I do. Obviously, because your muscles aren't as warm and you're not as limber, but it's a completely different game when you add in that hot temperature.
Yeah, definitely. I don't do regular yoga. I wouldn't even waste my time. Like,
You jump back and forth between the hot yoga and the cryo. Just do.
well, yeah, actually, I'll do the cryo, and then I've done the hot yoga, and then gone straight to the cryo.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
So I got to ask you, just because I'm curious, because I know we were talking before we got on here. I was like, dude, you've been able to keep a lot of your frame for, you know,
Yeah.
training the way you're training, but how much weight have you lost?
Since I really started everything, I lost like 20 pounds so far, and I still have like 10 more to drop.
Wow.
My goal is to get down. Right now, I'm like between like 212, 215, and I want to get down to like 200, 205. And I think the last time I was that slim was probably like middle school.
I think the last time I weighed 215, like I was getting picked on in high school and shoved into lockers, like a little thick boy.
I was 225 in high school at one point.
Yeah, I got up to 225. That was a rough time.
Yeah.
I had very chubby cheeks
No,
back
but
then.
you feel it too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, in high school, obviously with football playing, you get the injuries, but my back, my knee at
Everything.
17 years old, and I'm just like, holy crap, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing. I feel so like light, like just my body feel like agile, like it just feels amazing. It makes me not ever want to get back into like that whole working out lifestyle that I was doing before.
So I'm curious, because you also said to me before when I asked you, I was like, so do you see yourself continue doing this, or are you gonna go back to that? And you said, like, man, I really want to continue doing this.
This is the new me.
Is that changing the approach now with your clients? How does that
Yeah.
work? How does that look
Well,
like now?
that's the thing that would like as far as with like with my business and online, you know, mostly all my clients, this is people who work out at the gyms. So it's kind of makes it a little bit hard for me to find that balance of still showing the content to my clients that they need to use, because my style of training is nowhere near what they're doing right now.
100%.
So I'm in the place of trying to find the balance of, you know, showcasing what I'm doing while still providing enough value and content for my clients to what they're doing. But as far as like my clients, I'm starting to get people like who are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, who are trying to get more into cycling. And that's one of the main things that I'm getting right now, people who are trying to get into cycling. So the cycling workouts or kind of like exercises they could do at the gym that will benefit them on the cycling. And now that I'm getting more into the Ironman, I'm starting to get more of the clientele that wants to get into running, the swimming. So it's really just opening up my entire like field.
Yeah, your portfolio's expanding also too. You're going through like a rebranding phase now too, right?
That's exactly what it is.
I know you created a couple programs, right? Kind of encompassing Ironman training. I know you're talking about strength training, a little bit about mobility in there as well. Can you kind of take us through, you know, what people can expect in these new programs that you've been building out?
Yeah, so I just launched a new cycling program. So the cycling program is specifically for cyclists. In that we go over, it's an 8-week like strength and conditioning for exercises based on like the human oscillator, which will help you like, you know, gain stronger like muscles, endurance for riding, more power and stuff like that. As well, I go over different like actual cycling workout routines that you need to do on the bike. So it's not just a strength training, but I'm bringing in the aspect of the bike training. And then, like you mentioned, the mobility and stretching, which is, I feel like it's a big field that people tend to slack on.
Oh, it's massive.
And they're like
massive.
overlook at it because they're to worry about everything else and they don't realize the importance of that. So that's definitely one of the big things that I try to push on all my programs, the mobility, stretching routines and all that. And then now that we launched that program, the next one will be the hybrid training, which is the one that I'm currently working on right now, which I'm hoping to release it right before the competition, which will be more of like a running style training while still having strength and conditioning.
And that's something that a lot of people in the cycling world don't really understand too much about it. I train a couple of pretty high level cyclists, and when I started working with them, you know, and most cyclists, they're not you, right? They're not trainers. They're not, you know, they have desk jobs. You know, they drive to work every day. They sit at a desk, and then they come back, and probably in the morning they're you know, pounding miles on the bike. I know I have some clients that do, you know, 40, 50 miles every morning. Going for these long rides on the weekend, and then they're like, man, my back, like my low back hurts, my hip flexors are tight. Like, and you're like, well, are you doing any strength training? Like, are you doing any deadlifts? Are you doing anything to strengthen the posterior chain?
Got to cycle.
Right. Are you, you know, doing things to kind of help decompress the front of your body? Well, no, I'm not doing any of that. It's like, well, you're leaving so much on the table in terms of your athletic potential in cycling because you're not able to access some of these ranges, right?
That's the thing. I feel like cyclists that have this mentality like, oh, you're only going to get better by riding more. And, you know, you feel like you just got to introduce them to the world of strength and conditioning, show them all the benefits that they're going to gain, not just in their endurance, their speed, but they're not going to feel any lower back pain, no more neck pain, shoulders. That's just the kind of stuff that comes from not having properly built like a muscle density in the proper, you know.
And then you can generate more power. You know, like one of my clients, she's an absolute beast, and she's like, man, we've like completely reconfigured how I'm sitting on the bike, like my stance on the bike. I'm able to get like a deeper pitch, deeper hip angle. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, man, like the amount of power I can generate now.
Yeah, when you have tight hips, you can't really use them at full force.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you're doing with your clients as far as, I know you mentioned, you said how they oversee that, you know, and we can attest that, hey, we have many clients like, well, yeah, I'll do a little bit of, or like, yeah, but I want to do more of this, you know, and, or here, I kind of skip my homework, but I'm ready, you know, and they don't really see it until they actually experience like, oh man, like I'm feeling, like I'm tight here. Like, what are some of the things you tell your clients as far as like driving that importance of like, hey, this here is as important, maybe even more important than some of this other parts. So you don't want to skip this, or those who come to you, hey, like I'm not doing too well with this. Like, how do you coach about like letting them know you have to do this?
I kind of make it like a mandatory thing, like in order for you to keep advancing, because at the end of the day, the workouts are just going to get harder. The training is going to get harder. If you want to be able to perform at the level that you want to be happy with during those trainings, you need to make sure you take care of this before, because if not, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting my time. Simple as that. As I tell them, like, I'm not here to have you wasting my time. If you came to work with me, I need you to be 100% and do what I say. If you're not going to do what I say, then go somewhere else.
Yep, and that's where it goes. It's not about the money. It's about, you know, hey, this is what I believe in. I want to drive you value, but if you're not allowing me to drive you value, then I can't help you. You know what I mean? You see that a lot. You see that a lot where a lot of just...
Especially down here.
Especially down here.
You know, a lot of people saying like, oh, I want to train with Ramses. Like, well, okay, but if you're not getting your results, who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
You know, like
and you're making me look bad.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can't use you as a testimonial, man. Come on.
You're going to say you train with me and then you don't look like
Yep.
And they're like, oh, no, but it was his fault because... It's like, no, you just didn't listen, you know, and that happens a lot. Of course.
I mean, you've been in the online realm, obviously, a lot longer than I think, like, Anthony and I have in terms of, like, selling programs. This is something that I've actually found pretty funny. I found that my clients who I work with online are 1,000 times more accountable to themselves.
Oh, of course.
Than the people that I worked with at Equinox or the people that I work with in person. I'm like, but why do you think that is?
Because they're taking that extra step of reaching out to you, willing to make the change. A lot of people that they go to a gym and get a trainer, I feel like they're kind of just taking the easy route of like, oh, I'm going to have someone be on top of me. Now, while you get an online trainer, you kind of have to be on top of yourself. And I feel like just by that, those people already have like a stronger like commitment into them reaching their goals. But at the end of the day, like you said, it all comes down to just how bad do they really want to achieve those goals, because we're not with them. We don't probably most likely ever going to see them in person. So it's all based on, emails or small conversations here and there. So their accountability level has to be very high as far as for themselves. Instead of when you have a client in person, they're kind of like counting on you.
Right.
And you've been coaching online since like 2015 or something like that?
Probably longer than
2014 or maybe. But I know it was around like that was the hype of it. That was when things were really blowing up for you. I remember. So from back then and kind of where you've seen things are going, where do you think online coaching is going? Like, where do you see it moving towards?
I feel like that's a tricky question because there's so many online trainers nowadays. Like, you know, I mean, you cannot blame them. The people realize like the potential as a business that there is, the freedom that you gain from it, and you know, like. But I feel like at the end of the day, as long as you make a brand for yourself, you make yourself stand out from the rest. There's a million online trainers, but there's only one of you. That's how I see it. And if you're confident in what you bring to the table, if you're confident with your craft and what your knowledge, doesn't matter how many online trainers there are. If you're genuine, people are gonna feel that, and they're gonna buy into you, and they're gonna buy whatever you sell, whether it's $1,000 program, so a $10 program. You're gonna become successful. But it's all about. I feel when it comes to the fitness industry, a lot of people they're just like scared because there's so much competition. They're scared of being themselves, so they try to make themselves look like this image of like, oh, if I'm this is gonna help me, you know, become a successful online trainer. While in reality, you're just being like the other hundreds of thousands of online trainers. So it's all about finding that uniqueness about yourself, and I feel like just being yourself and giving out as much value. Value, it's everything when it comes to building an online platform and building a business from this. It's just about giving out free value that people are going to take it to the point where, like, you know, this guy's teaching me so much for free. Like, if he's giving me this content, this much value for free, like, how much more would I give if I pay him, you know?
And it's interesting because I know we talk about, like, you know, where's the fine line of free? Yeah. And I think there's a whole thing where, like, you see, like, hey, we're giving all this value for free, and then you see some other coaches who's just like, they're giving all these free workouts, free programs, free live classes, and then they complain like, I'm not making any money. And it's just like, well, maybe you're giving way too much.
Yeah, you need to find the balance.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that during the
COVID
lockdown.
man.
You know, I'd have like a couple of my friends here in Miami be like, oh, well, I'm trying to sell my program, but I can't sell it. I'm like, you're giving away, you're doing 7 to 10 fucking IG live workouts. Who would take your program if they can just? I'm like, you're shooting yourself in the foot here.
Like, one thing is you do something with a company, a brand, they pay you, and you're doing something every once in a while, whatever, to give back. But when you start making a habit for yourself with your brand, people are just gonna be like, man, well, I'm just gonna wait for the live class. I'm good taking your live class, you know. And it's just like, as coaches, I think that's another thing, like understanding, you know, where's that fine line of, hey, you're getting enough of what you can get from my page. You want more? Here you go.
Swipe up.
You know, and this is where you can swipe up. And then you know who's serious and who's not. Yeah. You know, and then you can vet that out on your page. It's so true. And you're gonna, and I'm telling you now, with the way things are going, you're gonna really see like who's serious, who's not, as a client and as a trainer.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I think you're really about to separate like the haves from the have-nots, and especially in the fitness industry. Like 5-10 years ago, you used to be able to get away with like selling some hawk bullshit program. You know, nowadays people are too smart. There's too many good coaches like us out there giving away too much good content, like you were saying. And if you're not one of those people, like, they'll sniff you out in a heartbeat.
Oh, real quick. You know, you see it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get followers hitting me up all the time, like sharing other people's programs. They're like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It looks like garbage. Like, I definitely wouldn't be doing, like, you know, backflips or running up a Stairmaster with, you know, bands attached to me while someone throws a watermelon at me. But if that's the way you want to train, like, I get it, I guess.
That's another thing, like, all those people doing all those crazy workouts and stuff like that. Like, when it all comes down to it, none of that, it's really helping you become the trainer that you are. The person, that the way you look, is just all for content, the show, the likes, the views. And it just kind of, like, makes people like be like, damn, is that how I need to like train? Like, what do I have to do to get to the point? And I feel like it kind of starts messing with people.
Yeah. Do I need to be doing a backflip every workout? It's like, I mean, I can't even do a backflip. So, you know, I feel pretty strong. You know, I'm like, if you want to do backflips, then I guess, sure. Like, if you want to, you know, stand on a Bosu ball while you do barbell overhead press and potentially, like, you know, break your neck, then, you know, you're an adult. You can do what you want. But I would highly suggest maybe, you know, just stick with some reverse lunges and some push-ups, and you'll be, you know, you can get a lot stronger that way.
Well, I'm gonna say something. I think where the platform I find really interesting now is gonna be Clubhouse.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's I've been on it. I've seen what's going on there, and it really cuts out who's real and who's not.
Bro, I got into a room the other day with Elon Musk. I was like, this is insane. Like, what am I doing here?
It was insane, dude. Like, I was in a room with like Grant Cardone, Brad Lee, you know, Dan Fleshman, you all these huge people in one. I'm just like, whoa, and or even the audience too. Like even the audience is quality. Yeah. Like even the questions are quality, and it really puts you in a spot. Like if you're on that moderating panel, like
you gotta be on top of
questions. You have to know how to answer them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I remember there was one guy who literally like they were like, hey, it's your turn to answer. They didn't know how to answer, just left. You know what I mean? But it was just like, holy shit, like. You won't see that other places, but here it really does that. And it's crazy because you're going to see a huge, like, people who don't want to get exposed are not going to get on there. Yeah. And people who know their stuff and want to drive value, they're going to stay on there and they're going to grow from there. And it's cool because what happens now is you can't post, you can't show videos, you can't like, you can't comment, you can't do any of that.
They can barely see your face. Yeah.
You can only put your profile picture and talk. You have a bio and you have your Instagram and Twitter linked, and that's it. I call it the resurrector for Instagram. I think that it's really going to drive a lot of traffic towards Instagram because it's the only one with Twitter. And what happens is when you're dropping bombs, people get curious. So people are getting curious of like, yo, if these guys dropping bombs on here, this girl's dropping bombs like this, who the hell is this person? I want to know. I want to see what they're all about. Oh, shit, this is what they're doing here. This is what they're doing there. Like I went on there for like 20 minutes, spoke, got like 100 followers on Instagram. I was like, holy crap, this is like the fastest 100 followers I've got on Instagram ever.
Other than the ones you paid for? No, I'm kidding.
We all Don't be jealous.
I can't, man. You got that blue check. I can't say shit.
But it's just, man, it's really funny to see the way that things are headed to. But you see, even with the Instagram trend, where it started before, where like it was easy to just show off this, show off that. People want to throw money at this, throw money goes because your account is huge. Yeah. Where even in 2017, 2018, you started seeing the companies where started getting nitpicky. Who's the follower that has the real niche value that they're driving? And then it started changing, and now you're seeing things like Clubhouse, and you're going to start seeing other things come out where now it's really vetting out that person or that influencer, whatever you want, that coach, whatever you want to call it, and really focus on what's quality.
I mean, we needed this, though, honestly. Like, I feel like the whole online realm, especially the fitness industry, like with as much good as there is out there, there's so much garbage. And like I was having a conversation with this girl on a coaching call today, and she's just like, I just feel so overwhelmed, and I don't know where to go for my information. I don't know whether, we were talking about nutrition. She's like, I don't know whether keto is good for me or this. I'm like, well, you have to figure that out. But two, like, I totally get where you're coming from. Like, you have some guy on YouTube telling you that keto is the only way that you're going to survive. And if you eat, one sugar cookie, your head's going to explode. And then another guy's telling you can, eat Pop-Tarts all day and not gain a pound. It's like,
who do I go to?
I wouldn't know what to do either.
Too much information,
it's way too much.
It's true.
Too much people's opinion. And at the end of the day, you don't really know how your body's going to react. So you just have to try it.
Yep. You said it.
Yeah,
experiment.
Which is always awkward, right? Like, I always tell people, like, well, you just got to see what works. And they're like, but aren't you my coach? Like, you're supposed to tell me what to do. I'm like, I am telling you what to do. Like, try everything and anything and see if it doesn't work, don't eat it. If it does work,
and then it might work for a while, and then it might not work anymore. Right. You got to go try something else, And it's just, that's the way. Look, even now, even with your workouts, you've tried this for years, and now you're trying something else.
It's crazy because you say that because, like, right now, this is the most I eaten in my life. Like, I have never eaten so much on a daily basis in my life. I'm literally just stuffing myself up with chicken, turkey, sweet potatoes all day long. And this is the leanest I've ever been in my life. So it just shows you that, how you're training, your diet is really plays such a big role. Because I will never eat the way that I'm eating right now. Because I will always be scared, like, oh, I'm eating too many carbs, this and that. But, my training routine's changed. Burning like 4,500 calories on an average on a daily basis. So, I do have to refuel my body. And at first it was like kind of like weird, like, whoa, like this is not really like the way that I eat, it kind of like started messing up with me mentally. I'm like, what, am I going to gain weight? Like, I'm actually trying to drop weight, but I'm eating all this. And then just slowly I started seeing my body reacted in a positive way to it. I'm like, wait, like, maybe I've been wrong all these years thinking that I couldn't eat so many carbs because it was going to make me gain weight and whatnot. So, that's when it goes to, like, you learn from those things. And maybe I was making a mistake back then, but now I'm realizing that this is possibly something that I could just keep doing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wore one of those glucometer meters a couple of years ago. And, my now ex-wife at the time, she wore one. And, I could eat, a whole giant bowl of pasta. Nothing would happen. She would like stare at a piece of bread and it would like skyrocket.
That sounds like me. That sounds like me.
And it's just like it's her glucose insulin response was just all over the place. I was like, all right, well, sucks for you, but you're gonna have to eat a more fat-based diet, and I'm gonna be over here, enjoying all these eating these stuff. Rice and beans, But it truly is. I feel like it's unfortunate because so many people are being left behind with all of this nonsense that's out there, and telling them, oh, this is the right way or this is the wrong way. It's like, listen, all those people are full of shit.
Yeah.
No one really know, like, all of the stuff that we've quote unquote learned over the years is all based on theories that may or may not even be true to begin with.
And then later on, they're gonna say, "Oh, guys, sorry, this actually, it's this." Now.
Eggs are good. Eggs are good. No, all eggs are bad. No, but actually,
just the egg whites.
Just the white part.
No, but just the yolk. No, eat the yolk.
Just the white part. But now you can have some egg whites and some whole eggs. It's like, oh, okay, like
my eggs. That's what I said. I'm just gonna have my eggs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna eat them.
Gonna eat them.
Just gonna put them in a blender like Arnold did.
Chug them down.
It's raw.
Just raw. Salmonella all day. So how has it been for you, like, mentally with all this shift? I mean, you kind of touched upon like the changes in your diet, the changes in your training, but how has that led to more clarity for the direction that you really want to head into? Because it really sounds like you're dialed into everything.
Yeah, at first it was like a very hard transition just because I'm so used to being in the gym 6 days a week. Like, if I'm not in the gym, like, I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm going to lose my weight. Like, I'm just going to get skinny. Like, my muscles are going to disappear. And as I started, like, forcing myself to I literally forced myself to stop going to the gym so much, because I know that I needed to focus on running, swimming, which my whole life, like I mentioned earlier, I hated running. I hated swimming just because it was so uncomfortable. And biking, thankfully, that's something that I've been doing already for a while, so I'm not worried about it when it comes to the biking. But just the mental toughness of being comfortable with running, of just getting over that fear of, like with my coach every week, he keeps like giving me his different workouts, like this different tempos, and I'm just like, for example, for the past 3 weeks, every Friday is usually when I do like my longer run, like long distance run. And for the past 3 weeks, he's been making me do this time pace, and I knew I could do it. He knew I was capable of doing it, but I was just scared. I was mentally scared of pushing myself to go for that pace of 6:30 for 6 miles, because in my head I'm like, there's no way that I could accomplish that, and I was just holding myself back. And I did it 1 week. I couldn't accomplish it. I talked with my coach, and I was like, yo, this is really bothering me, because I'm not the type of person who's going to get scared, especially for a workout. Like, come on, I'll do whatever it takes and try to make it happen. But it was just like this mental gap that I kept having with myself, that I would just not allow me to push myself out of that comfort zone and make those times, because I knew for a fact that I was capable of doing it, but I just had to get out of the comfort level. So last week, after this was the third week with the same time, I was just like, I got over it. Like, another big thing about it is, like, every single morning when I would have to go do the running, I would just wake up sluggish, like tired. I'm a morning person. I wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning every day with no problem up at it. Like, I'm ready to go.
Yep. Sounds like us.
Yeah. But every time I had to go run, it was just like, I would just literally just sit in the toilet, just contemplating life. Like, I'll chug an entire Celsius, and I'm just like, do I really have to do this and that? So, like, last week I was just like, yo, like, you need to get up, put your shoes on, and just go run. Like, just stop with all that nonsense and just make it happen. That morning, it was just something in me. I was like up, like I was like ready for it, and I feel like I finally like cracked that wall that I had mentally with myself. It was a wall that I just literally made with myself, and I just told myself, like, yo, you're either gonna do this or you're gonna keep holding back. And once I did it, it felt so good to realize, like, yo, I knew I had it in me, but I knew that I needed to get over that wall in order to, now that I'm over it, I know that I could go faster.
So was it really for you that moment that woke you up, or did you have any mindset tools or anything that you used to just try to better yourself to get yourself out of this rut that you're in?
No, I always just kept like, pushing myself, and I felt like I was making a progress, but there was just that big wall. And I feel like last week really make me get over that hump that I had, and it just really made me realize that I could do it. Simple as that. You know, it's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna feel really hard because I'm not used to that feeling of fatigue and still forcing myself to run. But it made me realize that, you know, I'm literally doing the same speed for 6 miles that I was doing for 1 mile 10 weeks ago. You know, that's a huge drastic change, and I know for a fact that I could do better.
Yeah. And I think it's important too that you know, and this is where a lot of people fuck up, is that they don't track, you know, any of the statistics. Some people go too crazy. They're like on MyFitnessPal for 40 minutes 3 times a day. Like, I need to put, you know, that I had a package of Splenda. Like, okay. But some things are important so that you can go back and you can have those moments where you're like, shit, like, look at how we were talking about this earlier today with, you know, even with the podcast, like, we get so down on ourselves. We're like, man, like, we're not where we want to be, all this stuff. And we're like, but look, we did 100 episodes in 5 months, and look at all these amazing people that we brought on. It's like, you know, if you're able to actually look back and see all of that progress, it makes it so much easier to continue and to push yourself even that much harder.
Exactly. It makes it easier when you're able to track down from the moment where you started to where you're at now. And then even if you feel like you're not nowhere where you need to be, just by you looking back and seeing all the progress you made, it makes you feel good, especially on the days where you just don't feel good about yourself. You kind of feel down. It helps like a reminder, like, you know, you actually, you know, you might not be exactly where you're at right now, but when you look back at it, you have made drastic changes. And as long as you continue to do what you're doing, you're only going to get better.
That's right. You said it, man. You said it. And it's just, you got to have that keep going mentality, you know, and I think COVID also, too, during this time, I think it's also allowed people to really realize, like, okay, where are my limits? Can I break these limits?
Yeah.
Let me test my character. What other skill sets can I find or have that I don't know? You know, and obviously seeing your journey, it's really cool just to see the transition of where you've started to where you're at now. I got a question for you. Is there anybody out there in the Ironman world that competes high competitively that you like inspire to, that you like, that you model yourself off, or that you get ideas from, like you know, techniques or anything?
There's this one guy, Nick Barnes, I think. Nick,
sounds familiar.
He's the reason some people showed him to me once I started doing my prepping, because he kind of like did the same journey. As far as I did. He was like into bodybuilding, and then he made the whole transition into Ironman, marathon runner. So when I started, people were like, oh, you should look into this guy. He's kind of like, he already went through what you're going through, that transition. So I went to his page, you know, I studied what he did, and it kind of like, it pushed me and it showed me like, all right, you know, I am at the right path. I could do this. So that's something that I looked into, and it really, like, you know, motivated me to really put in the work, because, you know, if I seen someone do it, there's no reason why I can't do it and do better than him.
Yeah. 100%. And I think that and the reason I ask is because a lot of people will say, like, and that has nothing to do with comparing, but I think it's healthy to also see somebody else who might have been similar to you, because it allows you to be like, man, you're right. If this guy can do it, why can I do it and better?
Yeah.
You know? And why can I have that achievement? Why can I get to that level of success that, you know, I want to be able to get to one day and reap the same, you know, the benefits or more? And it's just like, I feel like everybody, in a way, like when you're doing something, it is healthy as well to model yourself off.
Is.
You know, model yourself off somebody.
You want to have that guide, you know. You want to create your own path, but you want to see the path that someone already created prior to you, just so you could have an idea of what's ahead.
I've been imagining growing a beard like Mendez's for a long time, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm manifesting my future, but it's gonna come.
I might have to start doing the same thing.
I'm like, fuck. Do I just have to like turn Cuban? Is that what it'll do? Like, stop being Irish?
Probably.
I don't know. I feel like I'm hairy enough everywhere else. It just sucks. Like, the only part that really proves I'm a man in terms of hair, I can't show it. Given now that I've been upset. I don't know if you've seen this show on Amazon. You've seen like the World's Toughest Race. Have you seen that yet? With Bear? Have you? We had a guy on who was actually his name's Kevin Donahue. He was one of the cameramen for that. And I became obsessed with that show like right before that. Have you ever thought about doing anything like that now that you've been? Because that's like a whole nother fucking level.
That's a whole nother level.
But but now that you've kind of teased into the Ironman world,
I'm always up for a challenge. So honestly, I don't see why not. You know, after I do a couple Ironmans, I already know myself I'm gonna get bored. Like,
Yeah, but that shit's like watching that. You see these people that are like, yeah, I've done like 200 Ironmans, and they're just getting smashed by this. And then you see like this New Zealand team. This guy's like, we're not sleeping. We're not. You guys ready? We got to suck it. I'm like, Jesus, fucking psychopath. Like, we're climbing this fucking giant mountain in the middle of the night. Like, all right, perfect, good. But the shit that they're doing is like insane, man. Like swimming in 30-degree water. Like, I hope you don't have to do that.
No.
It's not now.
Yeah.
Definitely not. If not, I have my nice warm wetsuit.
Yeah. Were you born and raised here? Are you from here?
I was born in Venezuela, in Caracas, Venezuela. I moved here 20 years ago at the age of 9. So I pretty much lived here my whole life. This is home for me.
Okay. Here, like South Miami, down by Mendez, or?
Yeah, I lived in Little Havana, North Miami, in Kendall. I've been all over the city.
Okay.
At this point.
Any area that you like more than the other?
I mean, I would definitely say I love where I live here in downtown. It's just everything. It's so close by. I love the beach. It's kind of like the one place that I go just for like peace and clarity when I just need to get away from life. I just go to the beach. So I always make sure to live close distance to it, where whenever I'm just having a bad day, I could always just head out there and just relax.
Yeah, I think you're making the right call by not living on the beach though.
Yeah,
I always say like, you know, to be one of us that lives there, like you have to be like borderline Baker acted.
Yeah.
You know,
this guy will never come visit me. He'll make me visit
bro.
him.
You live so far away. You live by Dayland Mall. I'm not going down by there.
Kendall.
Bro, past Kendall.
No, not past Kendall. East side of Kendall.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing.
Let me take at least my.
Yeah.
Let me
Still far.
Far, bro. Far. And I'm like, I drive a 50cc scooter, bro. You want me to take that? You want me to take that down to US 1? I don't think so.
This is the farthest I'll see John.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah.
No lie.
Like, I'm like, I had to take the fucking limiter off that thing just so it'd go 40. I'm like, you're not going on this fucking US 1 where there's cars going 70.
Yeah, especially in Miami traffic.
Yeah, especially now.
Although I don't know about the beach anymore either. All these gunfights.
Oh, I seen that.
Bro, the one guy pulled out the AR. It's like, oh my god, that's
was
like.
that an AR?
I thought it was an AR.
He was holding it like this.
Right. So I don't know.
That
Maybe
was not a handgun.
I know, definitely not a handgun.
Was that the one that happened the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Washington.
Sunday this weekend.
On Washington.
Weren't there two incidents? There was another thing that happened not too far either.
Bro, Vlad heard those shots. He lives like right on the other side. He lives on Euclid, like right there. One of our friends from Venezuela too. Insane. I don't know if I could live on the beach anymore, man. But you know, so other than these programs, other than the Ironman, like what are you really looking forward to for 2021 for this year?
My supplement company, the Royalty Extracts, you mentioned at the beginning. I launched that. It's gonna be almost 2 years. We launched it on 4/20 in 2019.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, I was just. I was like, oh, you know, maybe I should wait a little bit longer. Just make it 4/20. It was just like, you know. So we're a CBD based company. So
awesome.
Our main thing is sports recovery. So right now we have a vegan protein, cookies and cream, and we do amino acids, and we also do the oil tinctures.
Awesome.
So
I love those. Those are the best.
Yes,
those are my favorite.
It's really, really good. I started using CBD like around 3 to 4 years ago just because of muscle pain, muscle soreness, a lot of anxiety at nighttime, and just having a hard time like sleeping good throughout the night. I started taking it myself, and then after realizing all the benefits from it, I was like, you know, like, how can I mix this great product CBD with something that I do on a regular? And you know, at the time I used to work with a supplement company, One Up Nutrition, and I just kind of like, I was their first athlete that they ever signed, like when they first started, like back in the day. And, you know, it made me realize, like, yo, like, look how much success these guys are having. Why can I do this? There's no reason why I cannot do the same thing. There's no reason why I cannot have the amount of success. I seen what they do. I seen all the right things they've done. I seen all the wrong things they've done. I've been in the business as far as an athlete and someone like that's in the business side of it. So it just made me realize, like, yo, like, let me take this chance and let me risk it. Let me create my own product of lines. You know, let me create this product. At the time, there wasn't really too many like supplement companies that had CBD in it. I don't really think there was much. At least there wasn't one with BCAAs. There was a vegan protein, but there was no BCAAs at the time when we first launched it. So it's been a great almost 2 years. You know, the company's growing every single year. We just started signing our athletes. You know, we're building an
Amazing.
ambassador program. You know, we're a startup company. We're a small business, but the business is growing. Most importantly, we're not taking any losses on a monthly basis. You know, we have a great feedback from our clients. Our customer base is really strong, and we were able to build a high-end brand, because that's the one thing our products are not cheap. That's the one thing about our products. Our products are very high cost, because you're paying for what you, at the end of the day, you pay for what you get. I'd rather sell you guys something expensive and sell you go the cheap route, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And people really appreciate that, and you could just tell people appreciate that based on the return, on our customer return base that we get on a daily basis from ourselves. So I'm very excited for what's coming ahead. That right now is like my baby. You know, my online training, that's my business. That's what helps me live my life. But my baby right now is royalty extracts. We're actually in the process of working on launching a couple new products. We're doing like the green powders. We're doing pre-workout, joint support pills, multivitamins, L-carnitine.
All good stuff. That's great, man.
So we're just really building a portfolio of products that we're going to be working on. And it's just, like I said, this is just the beginning.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man.
We're literally, you know, you have your startup year, everything's going up, but now we're like able to build a foundation, the structure to allow the business itself to grow. And it's been a lot of work, you know, but I feel like I'm starting to see the light.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. You know, as a startup company, you go through so many issues at first, so many mistakes that you have to make in order to learn how to properly run a business. Because, you know, I run my business as an online trainer, but starting a supplement company is completely different ballgame.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you cannot compare anything to that. So it's definitely been a long learning experience, but I don't regret any of it, and I'm just excited for what's coming, because I have a very good feeling about this, and this is just the beginning of it all.
I'm excited for you too, and especially now the route that you're taking, even better, like too, with like pushing it out there with, you know, the competitions that you're getting into, and being that athlete.
One thing that we drive on this, we're like an athlete company. Like, we want to work with athletes. This is not like a bodybuilder. This is not like gyms, kind of like meathead kind of like supplement brand. We're lifestyle, healthy athletes, people who expand from cyclists, runners, yogi people, like all kinds of field, and even people who don't work out, because people who don't work out, they could still benefit from the CBD. There's so many benefits from CBD. There's just people, they're not aware, and they're afraid of.
Yeah, they think they're going to get high, right?
Thinking they're going to get high, they're going to come out on their drug test, and that's just not how it works. It's just people having the bad information given out to them, and then just believing and not having the right person give them the knowledge that they need in order to, you know, expand their mindset about it.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I sorry, I mean to cut you off, but you know, that was one thing that I always try to preach to my clients. Like, you're not going to get high from this. Like, they're like, oh, well, you smoke weed, so like, are you trying to get me high? I'm like, listen, man, like, I know that you'll put on the fucking tinfoil hat if I even bring a joint around you.
Josh is always trying to get me high. I don't know.
I don't know. But you know, so they're like, oh, but I can't. Like you said, like, oh, I can't. I'm going to be drug tested for work. I'm like, listen, man, all that anxiety that you're feeling about, you know, smoking a joint, like the CBD is going to get rid of that, minus the positive test. Exactly. You know, when you go get drug tested, there are so many benefits to it too. And the biggest thing that I love that you said, man, was that you were like, listen, I'm not going to sell you bullshit, which a lot of supplement companies. I mean, if you checked all three of our DMs right now, you probably go in the inbox, you probably see 40 supplement companies saying like, oh, we want to send you our free products. And like, listen, the scooper says 110 grams, and you're putting 20 grams of protein in it. So what's the other 90? Yeah. You know, like air, you're just filling it with like sawdust.
Straight fillers.
You know, like I would, again, right, just like you said, I would much rather pay top dollar for top quality.
Exactly.
You know, because I know that I'm putting it inside of my body and I need benefit out of it. So that's awesome to hear, man. And anything that we can do to help support, you know, the launches, the growth, like, you let us know, and we're right there. I know that we're almost at an hour, and I know that you're a very busy man, so I don't want to take up too much of your time.
We're enjoying ourselves. We're having a great conversation.
But before we wrap things up, I know he's gonna ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. I want to give you the opportunity. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. I know that we linked up maybe a couple of weeks ago at the track for the first time. I was glad that we were able to do that, and I'm glad that you were able to come in here. Where can people find you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
So right now, the best thing would be through my Instagram and YouTube. So my Instagram is at MIA_fitness. And if you guys want to look me up on my YouTube channel, it's just my name, Ramses Principe, all spelled together. Those are pretty much the main ones right now that you guys can find me. Or my website, which is mia-fitness.com, of course.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. Well, time to let you up with some questions.
Uh-oh.
Woo! All right, question number 1. How much time as the CEO do you have to put into your business right now with all the stuff that you're doing? Because you're doing a lot.
I will say at least 18 hours a day.
Ooh, believe it.
Love it.
Believe
That's
it. And
hustling.
I love that because, and the reason why we had our last person as well is because people will only see something and not believe the amount of time you're putting into your actual business and baby.
My job goes from the moment I wake up till 30 minutes before I go to sleep.
Love that. Love that. Next question. What is your favorite exercise right now that you would take over anything?
Squats.
Yes,
Still
love it.
squats.
Yes, love it. That's the best answer. That's the best answer. Legs all day.
Keep it basic, right? Nothing with a bozu ball on one head. Just playing. Next question. What's the craziest and wildest experience you've ever had in your career?
In my career?
It's going to be on YouTube, so you can say whatever you want.
That's a tough one. I don't know, to be honest.
Anything off the top of your head?
Like career-wise, or like in the skydiving?
Yeah, I would have loved to seen you, Sky. Probably like 40 pounds heavier, too.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd be flying, and I'm actually hopefully going this weekend if it's not raining.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
Where?
And down in Homestead.
Is that where you
Okay,
did the
nice.
first one?
Yeah, well, I mean,
they teach down there, right? Like
they
you can
teach,
do.
yeah.
I
And
thought about doing the
I
free
got my
diving
license
course
in
there.
California.
Oh, you got your license?
Yeah, I have my license.
so you
I
doing your own
already
diving?
I've done like over 50 jumps already by myself.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Bro,
that.
you're a straight up savage.
Okay,
Then.
yeah,
You're
right.
like,
We'll be strapped onto you.
yeah, he's like, if you guys want to learn, I'll take you under my wing. I'll teach you. No pun
You get
intended.
Josh on one side and I'll be on the
That's
other.
definitely, I would say, like the craziest thing I experienced in my life, and I just feel like there's nothing crazier for us than human beings to do than jump out of a perfectly fine airplane and then land on your feet.
It's true.
Would you ever teach it, or do you ever like?
No, I just enjoy it.
What about the wingsuits? You ever want to like squirrel suit?
No,
Just
I
like
just let me
flip a
parachute.
coin and almost
I
die?
just enjoy free falling, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like with the sport, people get hurt and died from once they do like they open the parachute and they try to get tricky coming down fast. I just enjoy free falling, like just flying in the air like a bird, and
And then when it's ready, just
once
rip
it
it.
opens, and I just want to land
Yeah,
nice and
yeah.
smooth
Love
and
that.
move on.
Love that. Next question. What is the one thing you want to see stopping right now in the fitness industry?
I just want the fitness industry to stop being so scared of working with each other. I feel like trainers,
Love
people
that.
are just not confident enough with themselves that they're afraid of, collaborating with other trainers because they feel they're going to lose their clientele. They feel that like their followers are going to follow another trainer and they're not going to buy their program. Simple as that. That's what it is. People are not confident with themselves. And I feel like I would love to see the fitness community just come together because a lot of people could benefit from it.
Yeah.
Amen, man. Amen. Love
We're
that.
all about that.
Love that.
That's
Last
why we're
question.
here.
Yeah, right? Yeah, seriously.
Last and final one, brother. What is the biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today in one sentence?
Other than come on our podcast.
Just keep pushing forward. Like, in life, we all go through hard times. There's always going to be adversity thrown our way, but you just have to self-belief. If I could just say one thing, it's just a lot of self-belief. Believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what obstacles come in front of you. It doesn't matter what life throws your way. You're going to keep pushing as long as you believe in yourself and you know that you're going to give 1,000% effort every day. Life is just going to work out. Whether you believe it or not, it might not work out today. It might not happen tomorrow. But if you consistently keep giving out 1,000% and you keep believing in yourself, there's just no way around it. That's just the way I live my life, and that's just the way I'm going to keep living my life. And that has gotten me to the point that I am right now. I don't always have good days. Things don't always go the way that I want them to, but I always know that every single day I'm going to keep giving it my all, no matter how, if I'm feeling depressed, if I'm tired, if I'm just not having a good day, I'm just going to do whatever it takes because I believe in myself, and I believe that by me doing all the work, it's going to pay off at one point or another. It's a fact, and it has to. There's no plan B.
Boom. Guys,
Damn.
you know that I'm a huge, huge advocate in the word believer because that's what I rep every single day. It's on my Whoop. It's on my bracelet. It says believer. And
Belieber.
I believe
Justin
in that.
Belieber.
Just like that. Woo!
Man, I'm about to go run through this fucking wall. All right. Woo! I appreciate you, man. Until next time, everyone, make sure you guys go check out MIA Fitness. Our boy Ramsey, we really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
Had a great time. So looking forward to the next one now.
There we
go. Hell yeah. Until next time, everybody.